Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. We've got a lot of changes since the last channel. We're actually on prepared version 5 now. This aircraft, the Q400, is fully supported on version 5, so we've moved that across. We've got our beautiful clouds. We are in Edinburgh at the moment, and some great scenery going on there, and just generally better visuals from version 5 as well. And you're joining us on what is going to be a very short hop over to Glasgow, and in this video we're going to try and demonstrate a bit of more manual raw flown approaches and arrivals. Basically when we get towards Glasgow we're going to go over what would be a procedural arrival into Glasgow. So as you can see, it looks wonderful out here. We've got our lovely colour scheme as well, and all the vehicles moving around the airport. I'm going to go indoors now and hand you over to my capable assistant in the other seat as always, who will go through the setup, and then we'll hopefully get this flight underway.
Hello everybody, and welcome back. And yeah, as Jimbo was saying, it's lovely version 5 now. We also have active sky cloud art going, so we've got some really nice looking HD clouds going on here that cast shadows on the floor and all sorts of other fancy stuff. And amazingly, despite all this, we're sat at a solid 60 FPS, so some great work being done by the guys behind Prepared. They're upping the game a little bit to try and keep themselves in the flight sim market, I guess. So without further ado, I'm going to get everything turned on. If you'd like to see a guide of what I'm doing here, it's all in our first video, so you can go back and watch that, and I'll talk you through exactly what this process is. But I'm just going to go through things quickly, get things rolling, and while I'm doing this, Jimbo can be doing his captain bits and pieces, and if he's got anything to say, I'm sure he'll pipe up.
What I'll actually do while that's going on is I'll set up the FMS. You might not see any footage of me doing this, but you'll be able to refer to that in a video that we've already linked. We'll link again right now so that you can see how to set up this mighty machine.
Okay, so we've got the screen set up to their usual configuration with the doors on the captain's side and the electrical on my side. I've checked the battery bits and pieces, made sure we're actually now charging since we're on the external power. And I'm going to go in and do the flow. So the flow's a W shape, as you all know if you've seen the first video, so I'm just going to go through it now. APU's not on, so we can do the fire test. Get a bit of ambience going. Most important thing on the flight deck, as always. Check that goes out when we hit the test. Airfield elevation at Glasgow is about sort of 20 feet, isn't it?
Yeah, it is quite low actually. Hang on, I'll just check it for you.
Or something, I think. Pressurization's all checked. Right, having any of that.
Yep, 26 feet. Well remembered.
Wait. Temperature gauges aren't doing anything silly there in the middle. Don't want to open that can of worms, do we?
No. Not again.
Steering's off. Don't want to be smacking anybody's shins with that. If we had any hydraulic pressure left. Well, let's have a look at some weather for Edinburgh. This is 10:25, so we'll set that on the altimeter 1 and 2. And 3. And Edinburgh elevation, do you remember that one off the top of your head?
100 feet.
Beautiful. So we're going up for our acceleration altitudes, 1,000 feet above field elevation. There we go.
Actually says 136 here, but it's close enough.
Okay, go to taxi.
Yeah, make it 1140.
Make it, yeah.
Not
Round it
bad.
up.
There's another easy way of finding the elevation on the FMS. You just hit info over the airfield, and it shows you the elevation on the FMS. Fun fact.
Q400 is our runway heading today. HSI selectors over on the captain's side, because he's going to be flying today. You'll be pleased to know you don't have to deal with me.
Relief. We can fly it in magenta for the first part as well, if you like.
Yeah, sure. Okay, we'll set there.
So, according to our flight plan as well, guys, we've got about a 21 minute flight time. Obviously, there's going to be more to it. There's going to be more to it than just that, because we are actually going to do a quick hold and then an outbound, so it's probably going to take longer, and the fuel burn will be higher. But the trip fuel basic is 343, and that equates to about minimum of 1820 for your block fuel. So I've just added a couple hundred kilos. So we're going out there with 2200 just for the extra hold, and a full load of passengers and a bit of cargo to bring the centre of gravity rearward a bit, because it's too far forward with just passengers. It's got 300 kilos in the boot.
Beautiful. Well, you might want to just move your throttles, mate. They're at max reverse, as they always seem to be for some reason when we're doing a shared cockpit.
There you go. Shouldn't actually do the auto feather test while it's in the wrong position.
Alright.
No, not you. It would fail.
Yeah.
It shouldn't normally allow it.
But it does appear to be doing it.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Hashtag sim accuracy.
It's close enough.
Right, I've filled out the FMSs. So our takeoff weight is just over 27.5 tons, and our landing weight, like I say, we're going to have about 300-400 kilos of fuel burns. So it's probably still going to be 27.5 kilos for landing.
Fair enough.
Just going to put in the speeds for that weight. I'm going to use 28 tons, flat 5.
TCAS system test okay.
He still sounds a little bit angry, doesn't he?
Pull up.
He's just stuck in a dash. I mean, you're not going to be happy with yourself, are you?
Pull up.
Speak for yourself, mate. Dash is brilliant.
There are actually quite frequently flights of this duration, and even some cases shorter, if anyone's interested. We used to do a short hop, and I think my record was 8 minutes between Jersey and Guernsey. Another quick one, from memory, I think it was about 12 minutes, was the Isle of Man to Liverpool. And there's not a lot of time to do much on those hops. Usually you'll find yourself briefing for everything before you leave the departure airfield, so that you don't need to do anything when you get there. Just change over a few course selections and minimum speeds, and then you're ready to go. You've already briefed. Very short flights. It's quite fun, to be fair.
Yeah, it's a long way away from some of the long haul flights out there. They're pretty much the best part of a day long.
What's that shortest flight worldwide? One of the shortest commercial flights. It's between two islands up in Stornoway, isn't it? It's like a couple of minutes.
It is, yeah. They do it with an islander, don't they?
Yeah, it's just a hop basically over a small body of water, and if you get the favourable runways, I think it's not even a minute or two. Not sure why you wouldn't just walk or get on a boat. Just go for a swim.
I was going to say, like, walking between two islands may be difficult.
Go for a swim, or get your sea bottom scuba gear. Just walk the sea floor.
Yeah, like the old sort of 1800s brass scuba gear, and just walk across.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm done with the flow, by the way.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, I'm going to have a quick look at the CWP now and just make sure there's no mistakes up there. All looks good. So what I've done, guys, is set up a short hop here on the flight plan page. We are doing a Gossam departure, and then straight from there, there's nothing really to link it up. All the stars are too far out, so we're just going to go straight to the Golf Oscar Whiskey. Some point between the two, I'm going to disconnect the autopilot, and then we'll fly it raw data once around the hold, and then we'll position ourselves on the ILS following the plate. Runway 24 in Edinburgh, over to runway 23 in Glasgow. The flight plan's got us going up to flight level of 80. So I will just take us all the way up there and then plan our descent just at the other end with good time to get to the Golf Oscar Whiskey at, I think it is 3,000 feet. Yep, 3,000 feet for the hold. And then we'll talk about speeds and configs when we get over there. I think that really covers it, to be honest. We've got our, what's this ground add-on called, Cammy?
GSX.
We've got our GSX running here, so we'll use them to get pushback and everything. We're not using ATC today. This is more just, I mean, it's sort of a demonstration, if you will, of what you do with little to no ATC interaction. Procedural approaches are generally done when you can't be radar vectored. So I've got the speeds in, as I say, 27 tons. I think we'll just rattle off some checklists now, if you wouldn't mind, Cammy. Let's do the
Certainly.
flight deck safety before starts.
Okay, so flight deck safety checklist documentation has all been checked. Safety equipment is tested and checked. Landing gear and pins are checked. Alt-sync gear door and the inhibit switch, so the one above my head, is fine, and I'll do the one in the floor. That's all good. The switch is in the right place. The green lights agree with the green lights that we seem to have, along with the yellows for whatever reason. Circuit
I've got
breakers
yellows on my screen.
Oh, it's just mine playing up then. Circuit breakers, I'm happy my side.
Yeah, all good on my side. He says not really even checking, but
batteries have
it's
all
a
been
sim.
checked. I'm going to put my side back to the electrical now. I switched it over to that to see the TCAS system test earlier. Main bus tie is tied. Fire detection and smoke has all been tested. External power, APU, we've got external power, so that's fine. Battery temperatures have all been checked. The bleeds are off. APU bleed is not required. Bus voltage has all been checked. Recirc fans are on. Pressure and packs.
Right, so we are going to 50 feet in Glasgow, so it's not even one turn really. That's set and all checked.
Okay, avionics have all been checked, and the system tests are all completed. So that's the flight deck safety checklist complete. Next is before start checklist.
Nice one.
Do you want to get on with that now, or?
Yes, please.
Okay, before start checklist, external power, APU.
Right. APU. In fact, let's get it on now. APU on its way.
Emergency lights.
They are armed.
Fuel transfer and quantity.
Transfers off from the switch. We've got 2200 and we need 1800.
Brakes and pressure.
Brakes are on. Pressure is good.
Power and condition levers.
Disc fuel off.
Nose wheel steering.
Good question. Come on. Off.
Altimeters.
Is 1025 set 3 times.
And the briefing.
Well, it would be insert threats here. I mean, it's a nice day, and to be honest, we can brush over most of this. Edinburgh is quite a frequent place for me. We're just doing a standard SID, which is the Gossam 1 Alpha. Just quickly bring that up. Can't think that there was any threats. It's up to 6,000 feet, which we've got there. Stand by while I get the plate. Sorry, Gossam 1 Charlie, I should have said. Yep, it's just, I mean, we're going to do it RNAV anyway, but you turn over the uniform whiskey straight out to a waypoint called Gossam, up to 6,000 feet. MSA is quite high, but it's not going to be a factor in the direction we're going, and again, we're going up to flight level 80 anyway. In fact, I'm going to bug flight level 80 now, and then once I set the ILS, just remind me to set standard pressure. We'll need to get the QNH for Glasgow going into there and then switch back when we go down to 3,000 foot for the hold.
Awesome. Do you want the uniform whiskey on the ADF?
No, to be honest, let's just leave this in magenta and because it's a short hop. Let's get everything tuned up for the other end. So we need the Golf Oscar whiskey, and we need. I can get the plate up. What's this? Golf Oscar whiskey and the ILS.
Okay. So.
And there's an NDB of 331. So you're doing, which bit are you doing?
I'll do the ADF.
Okay, so I'll tune the Golf Oscar whiskey, which is 1154. And the ILS is 1101. Interesting, I've got that strange clicky thing now as well. Sorry.
My arc dues all over the place. Hang on.
No, that was me. I'm trying to
okay.
program it on your side. Let me know when you're finished.
Yeah, I've done.
Oh, hang on, it's working now. Don't know why it does that. Cool. Oh, that's changed as well. Okay, that's better. They're tuned, you've got 331 in, perfect. Right, APU is running, external power is off. Let me use the menu in here. Do we use GSX to get rid of the GPU?
No, that's through the internal menu, I think.
Yeah, so I'll use the Q400 menu to get rid of that. Right, that's going. Okay. Now, I might be able to do some trickery here, and does it display our aircraft on the plates? I haven't got it on mine actually.
What, the taxi chart?
Although yeah, have you got it on the taxi chart?
Stand by. Yes, it's on the taxi chart.
Just trying to bring up mine. Here we go, taxi charts. Okay, so we'll just take full length for 2-4 as well.
Yep.
Which would be Delta. And then, yeah, as I say, I've got flight level So I've programmed that in. We're not getting a clearance. So go around heading. And outsail is set on the flight mode annunciator. And I think that covers it. Flap 15 when we get into Glasgow. Should we do the starting checks?
Okay, cool. That's before start checklist complete. Starting checklist. EFB aeroplane modes.
That's, well, on.
Yeah, on. Trims.
Have we got rudder trim? Oh, we have. So 1, 2, 3. What was our Mach tower? It's forward, isn't it? So we'll just move it backwards slightly. Yeah.
24.9, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, 24.9.
So slightly forward. Trims are set.
Okay. Doors and fueling lights.
That's all out. Let me just get rid of that page. Yeah.
Passenger signs.
On.
Escape hatch.
Closed.
Cabin reports.
Received.
Flight deck door.
Locked.
And I'll put the transponder on. If I can see past my own headrest. Anti-collision.
Red.
APU bleeds.
Off.
Batteries and bus faults.
Bats are all on, and yeah, it's about min 26. Does weird things in this one, but it's alright.
Starting checklist complete. Next one is after start.
Cool, so it's Control Shift F12, I think, is that right?
That's the one.
So it's usually a straight push off these stands, so let's prepare for pushback and departure.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Oh, this immersion level is through the roof.
The little dude on his little truck. He looks like he's seen some stuff. He's got a 1,000-yard stare in his eyes.
Some atrocities to aircraft.
Locking gear.
Well, there's Edinburgh at the end of the day.
Am I waiting for another menu to appear?
It should pop up, yeah, when it's ready to go.
Straight pushback, manual stop, max 100 meters.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted. Release parking brakes.
Park brakes released.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Okay, starting engine 2. I like how loud this pushback tug is. Like you can't hear it.
Louder than the aircraft.
Yeah. These glass windows mean nothing. That's out. Centered. Good start on 1. On 2 even. Starting 1.
Okay.
Should probably stop that push in a minute. Oh, it's actually, I'm going to let them keep pushing us because we're going straight down the taxiway. Otherwise I'm going to have to make a weird turn. And he's not, is he? He's going to stop there.
He's going to stop us there, yeah.
Oh well, I'll do a U-turn.
Dab of the handbrake, mate.
Set parking brakes. Waiting your confirmation for good engine start.
Yes, it's a good engine start. Where's my screen? I'm going to bring it up. Yes.
Unlocking gear. Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
60. Hide pumps coming on.
And set departure flap.
Okay, departure flap 5 selected.
Right, is this guy going to get lost?
He's taking his time out.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
Lovely. Thank you. Is he just going to stand there? Because I'm going to end up running him over. I am not going that way.
Can't
Just
do that,
stand-
mate.
Oh, he walks off.
I think he does. He get a ride back on the pushback took?
Maybe. I have to start checks.
Okay, after start checklist. External power APU.
Both off.
Radar.
Is stood by.
De-icing pressure is checked and it's normal. Ice protection test and sets.
It's plus 18, so let's just go windscreen on.
And fuel pumps are on.
Hey, we even talked about this, guys. I mean, you just can't train him. Yeah, they're on.
And nose wheel steering.
Do we do rudder first?
Oh, yeah, of course we do. Yes, I can't read now.
Okay.
Rudder.
Right, let me just move this out of the way so I can see the screen. Full travel.
Nose wheel steering.
On.
Hydraulics.
Whenever you're ready. Are you having one of those days?
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Travel. Cool.
Flaps and speeds.
Okay, so we've got 5 set and indicating and required, and speeds are 31, 31, 32, 42, and 54.
That is all checked.
Cool.
After start checklist complete. Next is taxi checklist.
Nice one. So with a QNH of 1025 set on the left, and for what it's worth, it's clear on the left.
Clear on the right and checked.
Taxi lights on. I'm going to swing it round to the left and then do a 180 to the right.
Okay, and then I'm going to do my flow. So leads are going to go on. The bus tie is going to come off. The auto feather is now going to go to armed, and we are end-top.
Look at this turn.
The great things about this airplane, isn't it? It's basically a shopping trolley. So I take it we're going
Second
from
left.
here to Mike. Yeah.
Yep. Second left, then right at the T-junction. This used to be a runway, but nowadays it's not. I think it looks like it's still modelled as a runway on this. It's been completely removed of paint and everything. There's just taxiway markings on it now.
Yeah, it's Mike coming up.
I'm going to go right there. Taxi checks whenever you're ready then, mate.
Okay, stand by. Taxi checks, bleeds are on and min. Electrical panel,
Is checked.
take off warning tests.
Good question. Tested.
Auto feather.
Select white.
Yep, checked. Power takeoff.
Head top.
And flight instruments, we've got 1025 set 3 times. We're in magenta. Heading cell, go around, alt cell, and the HSI is over your side. Flying controls. Do you want to do it for me?
Oh yeah, fine.
Gust lock off.
It's checked.
and your damper is on. PFD, MFD, ED.
PFTM and DD, all check, no flags.
Clearances.
Okay, so HSI's across to me, both in magenta, heading's good for the wind, stopping at flight level of 80 we've covered as a threat. It's 6,000 for the SID, but we're just going to carry on. Speeds are in, and we aren't worried about any clearances today. We know what the wind's doing. It was 200 at 10 knots, so it's slightly from the left.
Okay, and cabin.
Probably secure, I don't care.
You're right back there, Karen. Taxi checklist complete. Next one is the lineup.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, go for it. Lineup checks.
Okay, lineup checklist. So anti-collision can come to white, and landing lights are on, and pitot is on, and bleeds are on and min. CWP
Is checked.
FMA.
Got go around heading and outsell.
That's checked, and that's the lineup checklist complete.
Nice one. Happy?
Yeah, happy.
You sure?
Well, I'm
Not gonna-
about 85% sure.
Not going to miss anything, are you?
I hope not.
Right, okay, so the wind's slightly from the left. Power set.
Check. What's feather arms power sets? 80 knots.
It's checked.
V1 rotates. V2. Positive climb.
Gear up.
Gear up selected.
And select nav.
And nav selected. And gear up, lights out. Acceleration altitude.
Full lap 0.
Speed check, flaps 0.
Gauge autopilot.
Autopilot on.
Bleeds on min.
Bleeds whites.
And set climb power 900.
And 900 is sets.
Okay, I'll assume you've told me flaps are at 0, setting IS 210. And the vertical mode's engaged, set 1013.
Yes. And is it going to do the? No. Oh, there we go. 1013 set, passing altitude 2,300 feet, cleared altitude 8, flight level 80 without cell.
And the after takeoff checks, please.
Okay, after takeoff checklist. Landing gear is up. Flaps.
Oh, it's me. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Gear is up. Flaps are 0. I'm supposed to be
Bleeds.
saying this.
Yeah. Bleeds.
On a min.
Climb power.
900 set.
After takeoff's complete, next is climb.
Thank you. Climb checks then, please.
Okay, climb checklist, altimeters,
1013 set, cross-checked.
ice protection.
It's +5. Let's get prop stores and ref on, please, mate.
Okay. Prop stores and ref are on. Pressurization is all checked. Hydrogen fuel pumps can come off. And hydraulics are checked. Passenger signs are on.
We'd normally keep
what
set
am I
down
reading?
on a short flight there.
Yeah, hydrogen fuel pumps and the autofeather can come off as well.
That's one to go.
Checked.
Right, there's a new threat. We've got the ref switch on, so don't let me forget to lose it when we get towards our descent in towards Glasgow.
Okay. Want some rudder trim?
That'd be marvellous, please. Whee! Outstart.
Check.
I need to figure out a way of binding that.
Just need a couple of buttons on your joystick or something, don't you? Really?
Outlocked.
Okay.
Set 850, please.
Guarding. 850 sets.
Cool.
Sunny day. You know what has to happen.
You're unbelievable.
So yeah, guys, what do you think of version 5's much improved scenery? I've really been enjoying it so far.
I like the clouds, but I know that's nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Although version 5 does have like its own better clouds, I just don't think they're quite to this sort of level.
So what I'm going to do is let's get the speeds for our landing at Glasgow. So we're saying I think it's 27.5 tons. Let me just check the performance page.
You double check that while I get the
27 tons for landing.
27
please.
tons. Okay, stand by. $27 tons, flap 15. You're looking at 24.51.28.
Cool. I'll just check it on my side as well. 27 tons. 15, 24, 51, 28.
Okay. Okay, it's in on my side.
Cool. Right. Let's go to my plates and let's go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to descend down to 3,000 feet in time for the Golf Oscar Whiskey.
Okay.
We're pretty much direct arrival for that, but we are coming in at a funny angle, so I'm going to use, in fact, from this angle that we're coming in at, I am going to use a harsh, take a left turn by about 20 or 30 degrees first, before then starting all the way round to the right on the outbound. Something you suggested earlier, Cammy, and I think it's probably a good idea because it is almost shaving off 90 degrees of the turn at the moment.
Yeah.
Right, that's us turning towards Gossam. And
Yeah,
speed,
so the logic... Go on, sorry.
speed will be 170.
Yep.
And then as we go outbound, we'll just go once around the hold. Then as we go outbound, I'm going to introduce flap 5. And we go all the way out to 12.1 miles on the India Oscar Oscar. So we'll need to flip that across. And then we will be descending to 2,000 feet along there as well, turning inbound, and then it will be the ILS.
It's all checked. Do you want me to try and get some idents for these, or...? Are we going to assume they're all working?
You can do. We could assume that they're all working. I'm going to descend to 3,000 feet now. Have you got the Q&H at all?
Stand by. Q&H is 1025, your wind is 210 at 11.
Perfect. So, 3,000 without sail.
Checked.
Vertical mode's engaged, and the Q&H, did you say 1025?
Yes.
Vertical mode's engaged at Q&H.
Okay. Q&H 1025, set passing altitude 7,400 feet, cleared altitude 3,000 feet without sail.
Marvellous. Oh,
Watch out, mate.
okay. So, I am now going to put it into a heading mode, just while I set everything up. Nav source now
Check.
to that. Inbound course of the hold is 229. I think that's the inbound course for the ILS as well, actually. 229 inbound set. We're going down to a minima of 221, 230 to bug. I'm assuming you're setting all of these on your side as we're going along.
Yeah.
Okay, it's +5. While you're doing that, I'm just going to go back to standard flight. So that's set. We just need to change over the frequency when we go outbound. So 110.1 is in there.
Yeah, and all the radios are cross-checked.
Cool.
I would go and do all the idents and everything, but I'm a little bit paranoid right now, so I'm just gonna. We'll just assume that that's all done.
Okay, I'm going to try and slow down now. I'm a little bit hot on the speed. Let's do the descent checks, please, mate.
Okay. Descent checklist. GPWS landing flap.
Is set to 15.
Pressurization.
It's about the same for Glasgow, so we'll say that's set. Oh no, we've already
Briefing
set
and
it,
buzz.
sorry. They
Yeah.
are reviewed and all set.
Okay, cool.
Right, coming up on the gow now. I'm going to disconnect here. Oh, I haven't got a disconnect button. Oh, I have. It did work. I'm going to turn left to about west.
I'll set that on your heading bug.
Oh, interesting. Out star,
Check.
out locked, and
Check.
then we're going to go all the way around now to the outbound. Wind is more or less straight up and down the hold, so can you get rid of my flight directors, please?
Certainly. Flight directors off.
So the speed there, going back to 170. So rate 1 turn is about 25 degrees bank. Work that one out.
There's a formula for it, believe it or not. TAS divided by 10 plus 7. That's pretty much our beam, so I'm going to start the clock now.
Okay. We've got a tailwind of about 10 knots, so let's just add 5 seconds. Take 5 seconds off.
Okay.
Actually, I can see the timers running on your side. So we're looking for 50 seconds on that one, yeah?
Okay, firm. That's 45.
2500.
Cool.
Time.
Turning.
Set the heading bug. So ideally we're looking for a 4-minute hold from beacon to beacon.
Okay.
You be the judge of whether we do it right or not. My side window's steaming up a little bit, so I'll just open those valves there.
Not even check mine, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yours is fine with your heated window privilege.
I don't think it's on though. I've not switched it on.
It's looking pretty good. Nice one, mate.
Ta. Just a little bit off to the right, so I'm just taking a slight left heading there. That's about inbound now. Okay, we need to do the approach checks, please, mate, while we're inbound.
Okay, stand by. Approach checklist, altimeters.
1025 QNH set, cross-checked.
Okay, fuel transfer is off. Hide and fuel pumps can now come back on. Which they are. Passenger signs are on and the cabin we'll assume is still secure, and that's the approach checklist complete. Next is landing checklist.
Marvellous. Okay, here we are, coming up to the beacon. Just got slightly to the right of it, but as we're so close, I'm not going to worry too much. Okay, starting the right turn.
Right. And your heading bug is set.
Thank you. Can you set 2,000 feet, please?
Will do. 2,000 set with alt cell.
Can you switch to the India Oscar, please?
Will do. India Oscar is set on your side. Give me a second. It's set on my side as well. Okay.
So the next part is out to 12.1 miles.
Yeah, you firm.
Actually, where did I get the idea of 2,000 feet on here? It's 2.9. Look at the plate.
2.9, yeah.
I was just thinking about elevation there.
Alright, 2.9 is set.
Thank you. Well, that was
There's
lucky.
our beam point, starting the clock.
We don't need a timer for this one, do we?
No, might as well do it anyway.
Okay. So 2.9 takes us down to 8.9 miles is the top of descent point.
Yep. The reason I usually recommend setting the timer on this one is if you were having to apply triple drift for your outbound leg, you'd only do it for the first minute.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. CPL instructor.
That's alright. And we are below sector safety altitude now, but
We are.
let's assume we got a procedural service and we're on the procedure, so we're fine.
I'm going to get rid of that visor that's just been sitting in front of me for ages.
Well, you know, it's a motivational tool. You've used it on me plenty of times.
Now, obviously, that little slip up the altitudes would be not happening in such a rushed environment, as well as the fact that familiarity with the airfield. It just so happens, getting the excuses out now, that we were actually looking at doing this over at another airfield. I think it was on one of the Channel Islands, and the platform there was 2,000 feet. So I must have still had that in my head, to be honest. And also, it's down to your first officer to question these things. And so, as you've probably noticed, mine is asleep, so we can't can't actually get anything from him either.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
No problem. Okay, let's take flap 5, please, buddy.
Okay, speed below 200, flap 5 selected.
Did you manage to ident the ILSs for me?
I'll try that now.
Sorry, I thought you might have done them already. And we're turning at 12.1 miles. Oh, it's ages away.
Okay. There we go. I'll pick up the DME. Although the DME. Yeah, should go around.
I actually heard that as well.
ADF. Of course, normally we'd do all of these before we started using any of them. We have to identify to make sure they are actually the ones we were hoping they were, first of all, and also that they are serviceable.
So we've got a 10 knot headwind and our approach speed is about 124, so we'll call it 114. So, oh, that's an easy one. So it's about 120, isn't it? Yep. So rate of descent on the ILS about 600 feet per minute.
Yes, I'd go with that.
.1 on the EU for the turn.
Checked.
There it is.
You're heading bug now, 229.
Thank you.
And if we've done this right, we should roll out onto the localizer.
Famous last words.
Yeah.
I think we're going to overcook it a little bit. Oh, maybe not.
Close enough, close enough.
We happen to pick one of the approaches with the longest final as well.
For some reason the ILS keeps detuning itself on my side, that's interesting.
Nice.
There we go.
Okay, gear down please.
Speed check below 200, gear down selected.
Also guys, if you're wondering about any points to start turns or how to work out your rate of descent,
Green.
flap 15 please. It's all in my video on how to fly the
Speed
ILS.
below 172 just about, and flap 15 selected.
Arm reduced MP and condition levers max.
Reduced MP, condition levers max.
Landing checks please buddy.
Landing checklist, ice protection.
Is standard flight.
Landing gear.
Down 3 greens.
Condition levers.
They are flaps.
Flaps.
Stand by. 15 set indicating and GPWS.
And no steep approach. And bleeds are on and min. And that is the landing checklist complete. After landing checklist is next.
Thank you.
Just about intercepting the glide now. So setting go round altitude.
Thank you.
3000. Go around headings already set.
I suppose it's helpful that we can actually see the runway.
True. We could just go visual now, couldn't we, and fly all the way in, but
Yeah.
that would be cheating.
Should really get some add-on scenery. I mean, the airports
so you'll
look
notice-
nice, but
Yeah, you'll notice Glasgow looks particularly nice. It's a new, recent release by UK 2000. Let's hope we don't have to scrape our Q400 off the runway.
1000.
That's stable.
when would that ever happen?
When I'm flying.
Oh yeah.
Stable.
Pappy's
above.
aligning with the glide slope that's checked.
Decide.
Visual.
$100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Oh. Spoilers up. Steep.
Locks on.
Just locks on.
Okay, I'm just drawing up the taxi map.
Hey, do you want the after landings?
Yes, please.
Okay, control locks are on, anti-collisions can go to the red position. Flaps 0. Radar standby. Flight taxi switch is in taxi. Ice protection is standard flights. Bus tie can come on. Door damper is off.
Oh, there's the Holiday Inn. I love that place.
Hydraulic pressures look good. And that is the after landing check complete. Shutdown check is next.
Thanks, mate. We're going to take left on Lima, just up here. Sorry, right on Lima. We'll just go for stand 16, alright, mate?
Roger.
I need to set that up on my thingy, actually. Let's try and do that.
Yeah, do your GSX.
12. Gate Lima. Oh, Lima. No, hang on. How do I go back from that?
Just
Okay.
close the window again.
So it's domestic pier. Gate 16, did I say? Yep, gate 16.
Yeah.
No, we don't want to follow me. Okay. And it's Menzies. Cool, I've done my side.
Yeah, I've done my side as well.
Well, apart from the descent altitude onto the platform, I don't think that went too badly.
No, I think that was pretty good. Conditions were pretty favourable though, to be fair.
Yeah.
We didn't have any wind across the hold.
And more often than not, if anyone was curious, you'll tend to take the lowest workload arrival possible when the conditions are horrible anyway. So you could argue that the conditions were the best fit anyway. So here's stand 16. Taxi light off, please, mate.
Next, and taxi light is off.
Just a random set of stairs in the way. They're sort of over the box, so. Feels a bit close to me, that.
We're getting awfully close to that building, aren't we?
Yeah, no, I don't like the look of that. I'm
Stop it
stopping
there.
there.
We're going to be able to boot them out the door straight into the arrivals.
How close is that? Oh god, yeah. Yeah, it's quite close. Okay, so park brake is on and needs to come down.
APU?
Yes, please. And shutdown checks when you're ready, mate.
Shutdown checklist brakes.
On.
I'll get those hardened fuel pumps.
Norman off.
Power condition levers.
Disc start feather.
Nose steering.
Off.
Radar.
Off.
Transponder.
It's 2000 stood by off. It's not 2000, but anyway.
Bleeds.
They should both be min and off now. They are.
External power APU.
APU's on.
Condition levers.
Probably been over 30 seconds. Off.
Passenger signs.
Off.
Lights.
Just gonna wait for 25% NH. There we go. Off.
And the battery master.
Staying on.
And I'll shut all those up. And that's us parked up. Crack the door open.
You're doing it.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Cool. If it works, hopefully it'll work. And that's us
Cross everything.
on the domestic pier in Glasgow. How do I get rid of that marshaller now? Is he not bored?
Stood there with their arms in the air. It's brilliant.
I mean, he'd make one of those good statues like in city centres. Paint him silver.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think that pretty much covers it. Any closing statements from you, Cammy?
Oh, that's our
He's doing the boarding PA. Okay.
boarding PA starts up. Yeah, so that's basically one of the things you'd be expected to do on your instrument rating skills test, which is pretty much the last practical flying test you do before you go off and hopefully join airlines if there are any jobs out there. So that's usually like maximum sweat mode for most flying students. Of course, you'd be doing it in a much slower aeroplane at about 120 knots. So speeding around at 170, you have to be pretty switched on, but thankfully we've got 2 people in the cockpit, so as long as your CRM's good, you can handle it. So I'm hoping that was interesting.
Another good reason to have 2 crew members. And remember, guys, the role of the pilot not flying, or what we call pilot monitoring, is to check everything that the person flying is doing. Don't be overly critical, because obviously you're going to lose friends quite quickly. But check things that they say. Make sure that you're confirming with yourself everything that they say they're doing, so that if you're not comfortable or sure of something, that's what 2 pilots would be doing. They'd be saying, hang on a minute, what about this? And the other person might go, oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. This is what CRM is all about. And certainly in the case of the MSA, and because we're both rusty, obviously Cammy may have missed that, and I went for an altitude that was wrong, and it could have been quite dangerous if you were in IMC. But it just so happened that we weren't, and I saw the hills ahead of me, and it prompted me to check the plate again. But also, you've got your terrain mapping on the aircraft, which is another safety net too. So use all the resources available to you. So I feel like I'm talking management here. Anything else, Cammy?
No, that's it from me, I think.
All right. Well, I think that closes this video. I hope you've enjoyed it, guys. And again, thanks for watching and subscribing. If you haven't already, please do. And leave us a like. And we hope to see you again in the next video. So it's bye from me.
And it's bye from me as well.
Thanks, guys.